Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We just started this case, and things are already getting pretty spirited, pretty high stakes. But it looks like we're on the route to doing some defense. So let's go check it out. '18th of February, 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. So I guess the Old Bailey is just what it's called, huh? That's a bit weird, but oh well. Oh, thank goodness! We're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. Yeah, didn't they say it would take us like 20 minutes just to get there? I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. Oh. That must be British money. It's one of my favorite lines from the Sherlock Holmes now stories, and it worked quite perfectly. So it did. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Apparently the Old Bailey still exists in England. Boy, talk about an old building. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yeah, true. I mean, being late for our first trial in England, and also the test to decide if we even get to be a lawyer, that would have been bad. Well, yeah, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. I don't see anyone. So this is the Old Bailey. Even if this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm fine. Oh, sorry, that's Apollo's line, and he's not even my descendant. I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court of Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever's about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes. But if he is the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at the moment. Top of the morning to you, madam! Sir? Jeez, what are you, am I defending, the Jacksepticeye? That would be something. Damn, nice hat you got there, pal. What are you doing? Following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? Oh, alright then. Jesus. Sorry. Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are yous? We're from Japan, yeah. Aha! Japan, is it? Alright, say no more. So, how much do yous need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. Well, at least they're writing his accent into the dialogue, so I can at least attempt to do an Irish accent without sounding full. Well, I can attempt to do an accent at least. Having a guide is helpful, you know. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all while in a strange, faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. 'Tis grand! 'Tis grand! Hey, nice rings you got there, pal. Are you a JoJo character by any chance? JoJo Jacksepticeye? Doug Dimmadum Hat Man? Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. Damn, 1,000 guineas. That's a lot. Huh? 1,000 guineas? Please, Mr. Zato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? Naughty the fuck? 'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. Damn, you must be pretty loaded then. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Oh, Jesus. Homie just threw a guinea right in my eye. Ah! Then again, I guess, I bet that would have been even more effective when you were playing on the 3DS, you know, with the stereoscopic 3D and whatnot. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to no strings attached. I'll be wanting to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more, pal. Otherwise, you see, the trial's gonna start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. God, look at that. That's a dumb face, but I like it. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. If you're so rich, pal, why can't you afford a lawyer then, my good dude? I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but, does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Blustering blazes! Do yous not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names? No, sorry. You know, we've only just arrived in the city, you see. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park there, in the centre of London, is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? 'Tis called the Gilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. And an entire park in central London. A city of smiles. That's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its queer old people. Magnus McGilded, huh? Jeez, are you sure you're not the human OC for Scrooge McDuck? I mean, my goodness. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. Oh, Jesus Christ, don't get mad at me. But now they've got gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with the London police, I ask ya? Oh, God. Alright, don't fucking pass out. Jesus. Ain't that serious. It's not like you're on trial for murder or anything. God. Mr. Naruhodo, perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves. Introduce ourselves? Huh. That's like okay, I'll give you credit. That's like the first typo that I've noticed anyway. Is that a typo? Because like that's a whole different word. Like, it's not like just one letter. It's like a whole different word. Unless it oversells a word? Fuck if I know. Well, the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is... How old? I'm curious. What does the court profile say about him? 48, huh? Very wealthy, philanthropist, wonderful reputation. Huh. So you're old. So you're older than he is. I guess. We're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I after saying, you daft Egypt? I mean, yeah, he did. That is kind of what he was saying. That seemed to be what he was saying before. I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry. I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking at any rate. If you're so damn rich, you should be able to hire anyone you like. Because he did it! That's the only explanation. Well... okay, well, truthfully, that's what I was kind of wondering. So yeah, I'll say it exactly, why not? Yes, exactly! What now? Well, like you said, if you have all that money, but you don't have anyone to represent you in court, there's no other logical conclusion than that you're guilty of the charges. Oh, maybe that was wrong choice. Well, you call a spade in the East, so you do. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any offense. I still can't express myself very well in English, you see. And I'm never sure what is acceptable to say and what isn't, so... Is that so? Because you sounded fluent enough. Because you sounded fluent enough when you were telling me what a blackguard I must be. I'm terribly sorry. You seem like a good-spirited fella. I can't say that I blame you for taking it, fella. It is a little strange, to be honest. Why, you don't have a lawyer, I mean. That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry, did you just say Reaper? Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Barak von Zykes. He's the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? What the fuck? When Von Zykes... when Von Zykes stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. Oh. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. Oh. What? So it's reached a desperate situation, where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fellow at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Barak von Zykes. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel? That's me. That would be me. Oh, 'tis time! Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here, I'd made up my mind, so I had. Sorry. I decided I'd have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? But then you made an appearance. A student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now. Please. I literally know nothing about the case, or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo. The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that court, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Kazuma would never have allowed to happen. Oh. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. Well, alright then, let's roll up our sleeves, shine our armband, and kick some ass. I'll be right there. It's happening then. My first trial in the British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. And because I have no idea I'm gonna manage this shit. Holy fuck, man, I'm so screwed. You wouldn't even believe it. Ah. Man, fucking Ryunosuke needs some self-confidence, man. We basically saw 2 deaths already, so what's the third one there, you know? Oh, nice torches you got there, pal. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court of Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. Well, clearly you guys haven't been to a Japanifornia trial. Those get pretty fucking wacky. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yeah. What, yo? Oh, we're doing this again. I guess he still hasn't quite found his footing as a lawyer, you know? Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh, hi there. Hello. You sleeping? You tired? I mean, I get you. Oh, okay. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Oh, jeez. I don't know how I'm going to do a voice for him. That doesn't sound like the voice I did for Strongheart. I mean, he's Von Zykes. Is he like Dutch? I don't know what a Dutch accent sounds like, really. I mean, obviously he's British, because we're in a British court, so I don't know. The prosecution... Oh, maybe I have to find it out as I go along. The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look full prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Yeah, it looks like fucking Dracula, or at least a vampire lord. What was his, like, cloak and shit. Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry about that. But he asked if the defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Those eyes please me, Nipponese. Don't be racist. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, cling to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. A cold shiver just ran down my spine, all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGilded. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offence. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defence to this foreigner? As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a student from some little island off in the Far East. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance? Okay, I need to get... I'd like to take their acts of chivalry to the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded. What a fine gentleman London has in him. Did you hear he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, may you please go and play in Gilded Park? And everyone loves fucking Magnus McGilded. That's cool, at least. It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news. And he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? Geez, I'm not gonna become with like 6 unique, distinctive voices for these people. Yes, my lord. It's a task to send rotters to the gallows where they belong. I'm more than ready. At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me. I feel chill. Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for me grandson. Good lord, what kind of fucking jokers did they fucking scrounge up from here? Half of those guys said they did not seem impartial to me. What with their, I'm gonna send people to the gallows, like, that's not exactly impartial as far as I can see it. And the other 3 people there don't seem like they even know where they are. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Those people are, the jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes sentences according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. Damn, don't go telling Christoph Gaddam about that. He'll freak the fuck out. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I'm sure it'll become clear as the trial progresses. Yeah. Prosecutor Van Zykes. My lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware? I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo. As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. Hey, nice scroll. The incident took place in the late evening. 3 days passed. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as thrice-fired mason. Sorry, thrice? He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. Oh, he's called thrice-fired because he fires the bricks? I thought that would be because he got fired 3 times, but I guess not. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, Counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence. Yeah, okie dokie. And now we got a photograph too. Nice. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are, Good Lord! Is that blood, Counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaking gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilden's gloves had blood on them? Well, that's not a good sign. Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well. Okay, okay. How did I get into this? I'm back into the corner before it even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded. Yeah, noises. Well, rather damning circumstance, to say the least. Defendant, what say you? Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening, but whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. Were you claiming to have been asleep? 'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Little so it is. And when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in me life. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. So the blood got onto the gloves then, after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it. Oh, there were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Duh, jeez. Well, shit. Order! 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 Ah, Christ, my voice. My poor raspy voice. I'm not used to doing all these hard voices. When the killing took place,
Only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses first of all.
Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once.
Huh. So we have witnesses and we have, the jurors. I guess they're two separate groups, obviously.
Witnesses, your names and occupations, if it pleases.
Beppo? Are you Your name's Beppo? What the fuck? My name is... well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End.
Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city.
My name's First. Lady First. I make hats for gents. Good lord. There are too many people and too many voices for me to fucking try and do. Oh well. That's part of the fun of it, I suppose.
Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witness to the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Quite right.
Yes, sir, that's right, sir.
Very well, then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, if you please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
Nice chin you got there, pal. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then, out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus. And then I saw it too.
Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes.
I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, counsel.
Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage.
How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus?
Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning, you see.
No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is.
What? Do you mean the actual scene? But how?
A carriage designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much.
Yeah.
The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building.
Here? What? What? The entire carriage?
Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus.
Damn, that's just a whole ass carriage. I mean, that's convenient for us, I guess. At least we can examine it with our own hands and eyes. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. Also, I'm not used to them calling that, omnibuses? Like, when I hear omnibus, like, you know, it's like a book term normally, like, for like a big encyclopedia or some other kind of reference book. Not a carriage, but, I mean, whatever. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing.
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers.
Oh, it's like a primitive double-decker bus. Huh.
4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight in the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above.
Ah, a skylight. Oh. The penny... Oh, sorry.
The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen will occupy the rooftop seats on this omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight.
That makes perfect sense. Well, Counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced a crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom.
There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish.
Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence. Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I can help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Let us continue with proceedings, then. Your cross-examination, Counsel.
Pray, don't expect this nippony stray to understand the
You know, it's the second time that word has tripped me up. I swear I used to not be able to pronounce it clearly. The intricacies
of a British court's cross-examination rights.
Slap yourself in the face. Oh, that's not the one. That's not that animation. Oh, right. My first cross-examination in the British court. Oh, yeah. See, now he's doing the face slap. Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus. Let's see. What the witnesses saw. Let's see. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. So you're the one who's driving the bus. Let me just review these some evidence real quick, like, if you don't mind. Okay, thrice-fired mason. He's a brickmaker. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, he definitely looks super dead. And super stabbed, so... Then you have his nice leather gloves. With blood on them, apparently. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Hope it is not thrice-fired Milton's blood. Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on a first day in London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Pity. If only he'd been left-handed, am I right? I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. Wait, what? Hey, excusez-moi. Phoenix Wright Omnibus? What's that about? Huh. Well, isn't that just fucking adorable? I guess, maybe Phoenix had origins outside of Japan. I assume it's just more like, oh, this is a coincidence, but still, haha, funny reference. I get the joke. So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. So people sit here, all the way up, on bitter winter nights, with the cold air rushing past them. And they have to pay money to do so? Yeah, London is pretty cold and gloomy and miserable from what I hear. Brr, I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. So what about that window? Can we look closer into that? You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. Not really, no. Let's look inside. Can we open it up and see? Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? The scene of a murder, it's horrible. I mean, I'm probably going to examine this anyway, so might as well get it out of the way now, right? Boy, it makes me really feel like I'm in a 3D space when you do it like this. That's pretty cool. That's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. Ooh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. This seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really. Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here. A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? I mean, yeah, kind of, I suppose. Hey, is there like a hatch? Is that like a hatch? This seat has a handle, it seems. Oh, look at that! You can open it up. That's interesting. This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubs, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to stow their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway. Okay, so nothing important really. Let's see, what about this? Oh, that's just, oh, it's the same thing with a different poster, I guess. Now what about this blood stain? That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victim's, obviously. Yes, and that seat would clearly be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab someone in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the smartest thing to do. So that seems like everything important, as far as evidence goes. Let's see.
Hold it!
Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh, yes, sir. That's right, sir. Yes, ever so cold it was, sir. Freezing, in fact. Oh, so this is like the thing where you can check how other people are reacting. I do remember that from the first case, though we didn't really do it for another case, a whole other case, so I kind of forgot about it, TBH. But okay. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time. Is that correct? Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same part of the bus, of course, though. No. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example. I don't know what that means. You're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. No, none. So nobody fled the scene of the crime, then. I have to say, the boss insists on it running. He does. Every evening, that last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, it's hard to say. What do you mean by that? Well, what with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I'll spend that much from the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again. You seem very chilly. I hope you're gonna be okay.
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage?
That's right. When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view.
Oh, so they were sitting side by side, huh? Not across from one another. I was kind of wondering about that, because it didn't look like, from that angle of the skylight, like you couldn't really see the other side super clearly.
The two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out the faces, but there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded.
How can you be so sure?
Well, how can I put it politely? McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature.
Oh yeah, he's like a little leprechaun dude.
I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There's no room for doubt here.
I really wish there was, though. Yeah, I guess if he is really short, you wouldn't really mistake him for anyone else.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened? Didn't I already testify to that? Or are fair dinkum, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Fair dinkum? Or fair dinkum, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no. I didn't mean that. This is no good. I've really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that's... My lord! Juror number 3, what's the meaning of this? My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. He looks like kind of an English dandy, but a slightly psychotic looking, or maybe it's just the knife. So, Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or another that they shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, you can't fool me. Ah, so you're about that... Oh, fuck. So you're about that eat the rich lifestyle. I mean, that's fair. I respect that. But still, it's a little early to be making decisions, don't you think? Bro, you just punch a fucking flame into a what? I guess it's a little extravagant even for the, you know, a court system. Like, oh, punch a flame and it goes into... How do you even... How does that even work on a physics level? You can't push flame and have it, like, stay in that shape. You're not fucking, Human Torch Man, you know? There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter, anyway. Hold it! Bro, we just started. You can't just fucking decide that the dude's guilty right away.
That is precisely what I was about to say. As a foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors.
God damn, man. We've only just begun, to quote the Carpenter song. What is happening here? Okay, once again, I'm just gonna press X to doubt on the statements that, like, these were, like, the most impartial fucking jurors you could find. Like, good lord. Let me see. Ah, yes, it seems that's how members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire? Apparently, yes. White for innocent, and black for guilty. But that wasn't a... What, the fire? The fire wasn't black. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that... Sorry. Does that mean... Yeah, it's not good, I can tell you that much. Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Ugh. Now I'm even more worried than I was before. They didn't even let me finish my first cross-examination.
Very well. The court acknowledges the change the jury stands. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare. That's right. No, what voice did I have for him? He basically kind of sounded like Beppo.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say? And you were sitting up on that roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing a little chit sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see. So, I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right out from his belly. That huge great knife. I mean, it wasn't that great. I've seen greater knives than that, really.
A grim sight indeed.
Ah, that didn't help me at all. The jury looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First!
Yes, sir.
Is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief! Yes, that's it. 31, sir. Is that...
Yes, Counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart.
And you would know about that, wouldn't you, pal?
That is a blade of considerable size, Counsel.
I mean, I guess. I've seen... Like, if you guys never seen a butcher's knife? That's way bigger.
It is. And furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar.
Please, no.
M for Magnus, perhaps? Or McGilded, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
Yeah, you objection. Oh, no, not the baby slaps. Bro, we missed the baby. We need to leave. We should have left the baby slaps back in Japan, you know. Okay, come on. But there are M's everywhere, like Maroc Manzikes, Manikes.
Objection!
Oh, just nice fancy scripting out there, pal.
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No! This weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused.
Can we just ask McGilded if it belongs to him?
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, Counsel.
Hey, at least we know. Yeah, large-ish. It's not that large, but it's kind of big, I guess. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption. Juror number 2. Oh, sorry, my fucking voice was.
Juror number 2. Go on.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word to be sacrosanct. Yeah, you tell him. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truce. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish! God damn, this is not going off to a good start. Just saying. No. I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. You finally gonna talk, lady? I have painstakingly typed every uttered word. That's not a good voice. I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion. Come on, let me fucking make an objection at least. Jesus. Not again. That's 4 out of 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back. But... Alright, I'll keep trying, I guess. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. Sorry about that. Okay, well, this recording is definitely going along, so I need to cut it off right about now. But things are already not looking so good for us and Mr. Leprechaun Man. But I'm sure we'll find a way to turn things about, you know? But until then...